Hey, and welcome to this video. My name is Janis and I want to share with you why you should try playing Syntakt, and I guess it also works for Digitakt, with external controllers. Because the internal keyboard is quite limited, you can only control the note length basically, whereas there's a little hidden menu, as I feel, that lets you refine the reaction to controllers. So you can really play with velocity variations. So instead of having, for example, a very static bass line like this, you can let the sound respond to the way you play. So now my softer strokes are shorter, and also the louder strokes open the filter a little more if you listen closely. And this feature is super inspiring because you can control every parameter of the synthesizer or of the filter, or also the amp page and even the LFO parameters through, for example, your velocity, but also if you have a keyboard with a modulation wheel or even aftertouch. And just a quick explanation how the controllers are connected. So you can see the Nord drum sends MIDI to the MIDI in from the Syntakt, and also the Launchkey sends MIDI, although through Ableton because it only has USB, but also to the Syntakt, so I can also play it. And then it depends on the channel that you use. So if you send on channel 1, you will actually play sound 1 on the Syntakt. If you send on MIDI channel 2, you will play sound 2. Or as I'm doing it right now, you can also select channel 14, which means whatever track you select on the Syntakt, you're going to play. So now it's the bass sound. But if I select track 3, for example, I'm going to play that one. And this menu, where you can really refine how the sound responds to your playing, you can find by pressing Function and Sound, and then by going to Setup. And you have quite lots of settings here. It starts with the filter key tracking, which is also great, because this means that the filter opens less for lower notes and more for higher notes. Actually, we can quickly check it out. You can already see how it opens up by just playing 2 octaves. Like this is the 2-octave range compared to 0. And this is a setting that really helps, especially those classic analog synth sounds, to sound a bit more lively. So I like to actually add a little bit of it. And you can also refine the velocity curve, because this is like the standard curve and I personally like to use it. But you can also make it react in a, I don't know how to call this kind of curve, but it responds quicker to your playing, so you will get to loud velocities faster. So if you actually like to play softer but want it to sound louder, this is a cool setting. And you also have the opposite, where you have to work really hard to actually get some loud notes. And the great thing is that Syntakt saves those settings per sound. So if you store a sound, it's also going to store those settings, which I find incredibly amazing. And you can see you can also adjust the pitch depth, the octave, legato, note priority, which is also cool for playing monophonic sounds. But the fun stuff is actually the velocity modulation. And actually, you have the same menu for pitch bend, velocity, modulation wheel, breath control, and also aftertouch. But let's check it for velocity, because you can apply 4 destinations to the velocity. So 4 things you can control with the velocity, and you can really choose everything. So if you open the menu here, you can see, for example, let's go to the filter envelope depth. And if you increase this amount, it means that the louder you play, the more the filter actually opens. And normally you have to jump a little back and forth between the settings, because now it starts at the point where you actually set the filter to. So if you, in this case, it's too open for my taste, so I like to dial this back a little and see where it feels the most natural. And let's try another fun setting, which is the release time of the amplitude. And you see, it's basically like using LFOs. You have all the same destinations. And then you go to release time, for example, and also increase it. So the louder we play, the longer the tone actually rings. And again, we need to adjust it a little. So we have some very short release. It's almost a bit extreme, this example, but I just want to share with you how it works. And I think you see what kind of possibilities this can bring up. Another situation where I find this velocity modulation super helpful is for hi-hat sounds, because it allows you to play both closed and open hi-hats inside one patch. So here I have a hi-hat. And let's add the modulation to the decay in this case. So syn decay. And apply some amount. Or let's also see what we can do with the modulation wheel. So here I have a kick drum. And let's bring in some modulations we can control with the mod wheel. So we go to setup again, modulation wheel. And for kick drums, it can be really cool to control the decays. So we can make them really long and really tonal if we want to. Let's make it quite extreme. Yeah. And the intensity of the pitch envelope can also be fun to control, because you can always assign up to 4 modulation destinations, which is super amazing. Let's actually use the sweep time, maybe, see what happens. Might sound really experimental. And yeah, I think this gives you some good idea on what you can do, and now you can start exploring, creating your own unique modulations based on how you like to play. I think it's pretty amazing what you can set up here. And if you like this video, just give it a quick like, and also be warmly invited to subscribe, since you can find more videos about Syntakt on my channel. For example, this one about a performance setup with the Nord drum, and here another one about generative music. And apart from that, I wish you lots of inspiration with whatever it is that you create, and hope to see you soon again at this channel. Bye.